Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creator Notes podcast, the podcast where we get up close and personal with your favorite creators, or maybe creators you've never heard of before. And if that's the case, you should go follow them immediately. You can pause this podcast right now and go follow them. Now that you're back, great to have you here. And joining me today is Corbs. Hey, Corbs.
Yo, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. How is yourself? What's happening?
I very relaxing Saturday, a little bit lazy. It's cold, but I'll be right. Just
It's good. Yeah,
living the
it's
dream.
it's one of the things with like recording this podcast is that there's always an era of mystery of what time or day or whatever it is. And sometimes I think this is probably the sweet spot. It's nice casual sort of Saturday, weekend, still plenty of weekend left over. We can breathe, but yeah, it's some a lot of content creators like, oh, we could do it like Monday at 4 p.m. before I go to live. And I'm like, oh, man, all right.
Running the
So
gauntlet.
I appreciate the weekend episode. That's what all I want to say.
Yeah, you've
Um,
got plenty of breathing room before, plenty of breathing room after. Smack bang
Absolutely.
in the middle of the day, the peak of the day, like when the sun's up in the sky. But yeah, I'm having a great old time here in the abyss. Um,
Yeah.
it is sunny outside where I live, so I've been able to get a load of washing out, which I can go to bed tonight knowing I've been at least a little bit productive.
That's it. As long as you're a little bit productive, that's the main thing. But we are here to talk content creation, and we're here to talk about yourself, obviously. I don't actually know a lot about your history, which sometimes I like to like dig in and stuff like that. And I've seen your content, so I know a little bit. But like, I thought it'd be fun just to not because your submission and your form was just like all over the place. You're like, I've done this, this, and this, and this. I'm like, this is the same person.
It's a mess.
It's
It's
a
a
mess.
um
So let's
yeah.
go to the start. Let's first of all, like we like to cover off where does Corbs come from? Is it like a something? Is there more meaning behind it, or is it a nickname? Like where do we get this the name
Well,
and
it
stuff?
it's it it's a great little story that I give a lot on stream because people don't know how to spell it. People don't know how to pronounce it, which is completely fair. So as someone that's done a couple of years in online
Hang on, how do
marketing,
they
I
pronounce
should know
it?
better.
How do
It's
they
just
pronounce it?
Corbs. It is
But,
just Corbs
but how do you
because
do it
it's link
wrong?
speak.
How do they do it wrong
I
though?
I get ever since, like, the Halo 3 days online, I get a lot of Americans will be like, "Hey, crates, go get the flag," or "Core8s," or I don't
But
know, or
they
"Core," and I'm like,
they're just
"Leet
dyslexic.
speak, man." It's I like, my first name is literally it's just Corbin.
There you go.
My parents had not seen The Fifth Element yet, so it's purely accidental, but I get Corbin Dallas a lot. Corbin Dallas
Fantastic.
Podcast, which I'm like,
Multipass.
it's an awesome movie, so I just
Yes,
embrace it. So if I ever need to put like a fake name, Corbin Dallas, and people and managers at works would call me that. So
fantastic.
so ever since I've been a kid, people, as Australians do, got to shorten everything, got to put a Z or an S sound on the end of everything. So
It's true.
I've been called Corb since as long as I can remember. So then enter high school, getting into like Counter Strike and stuff in the computer club after school. Everyone has their cool names, and I'm thinking, what do I pick? So originally, I would go with stuff like, oh, so cliche, man, like Inferno. I'm like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
that sound like fire.
Yeah.
Like it's not just a fire or a flame; it's like the whole goddamn forest, man. But
Then you
then I
join a
quickly
lobby
learned
with 7 other infernos. It's like, "Shit."
And then when I finally got internet access, like I'm talking like the early 2000s when it was still kind of not everyone had it at home. I looked it up and I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, this is a common name. Hey, there's a lot of people on the internet, so
yeah.
I probably need something that's unique. So I was like, well, everyone calls me Corbs, but let's make it. I was like 11 years old. Counter Strike, Halo, early high school. So I was like, let's make it a K because K's look better than C's. Let's change O to a 0, the B to an 8 because it looks like that, and then instead of an S, let's make it a Z. Done, and I've literally had that ever since. That's and I can't change now because there's a rapper called Corpse.
Oh, no.
There's
I
Corpse the
mean
rapper.
are you open to rap battles? Does I mean
No, I I'm surprised I can do enough, RedDead RP, like, role-playing, like, coming up with things to say, but then singing it, like, rhyming things, nope, I'm not that good. Nope,
Yep.
not happening.
I mean, it's just keep it as an option, you know? It's
Maybe one day, but, but since I've been streaming on Twitch as well, I've met I've met like Corbsy. We've
Yep.
come across each other. I've met Corbs with like two O's and two R's. I've met all. We're all. It's like that Spider-Man meme where we're like, "Hey,
Hey.
there's a lot of Corbses out there, but I think I'm the only Leet speak
It's
one."
still I mean, it's still less than the Infernos out there. Those
Oh, and you'd have like XX Inferno
Oh, yeah.
underscore. Oh god, no, thank you, no, thank you, no underscores for me ever. Thank you.
So, when did you, like, go from being a hardcore gamer to, stream it? Like, what point did you say, "I was gonna turn this into content," you know? D
Well, during my late high school years, I was dabbling with YouTube back in the Wild West days when it was still really new.
Yep,
A friend and I just got into it. We would mainly take like cinematics and footage from games and movies we liked, and we would just edit it to music we liked or
yep,
music from the soundtrack. Like there was a lot of like 300 was it popular at the time, Halo 3, Halo 2, Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith. So we would just do that, and I remember getting like tens of that, not tens of thousands, like thousands of views. I don't know. I can't remember, but it was going all right. Like people were
which
like,
is
yeah,
huge
this is
back then.
cool.
Yeah.
Just people would just do creative stuff for fun.
Yep,
And my friend, he would do, because he recognized my general knack for saying stupid funny stuff while playing games aloud. So he would get me around to his house. He would get me playing like Battlefield 2 or like Command and Conquer whatever, and he would
yep.
set up a camera so you had me in the corner with like, and I think he had a mirror. He had like a mirror set up next to the monitor so he could see my face. Like this was so punk rock, man. And like it would just be, and he had like an FPS Corb series, an RTS Corb series. Like I wasn't wanting to just get into it, but he saw something and he wanted to make it happen. And we would have people like watching the videos and like quoting it. It was so dumb. Just teenage dudes having a
Yeah,
good time. But then later in university, when I was getting taught about, oh, when you're applying for jobs and your digital footprint and all this, people will find you. I was like, panic mode. So I was like, dude, you need to hide all those videos because I'm going to be applying for this and that. And he went and deleted them all rather than
oh,
unlisting them.
no!
So all this progress I made, and then all the stuff I did on my YouTube originally, gone. Just very
Damn.
awkward. So it was all lost, reduced to atoms.
I was gonna
So
say, like, release the Snyder cut. It's like, where's the corpse cut? But
I
it's
I
gone.
wish we could go back, but there was no backups made, and
Yeah,
all there is some photos of like me when I was like much younger, much thinner, s- so dorky, man. Like in this room with like this basic little camera on a tripod, mirror next to the monitor. But we're just
yeah,
having fun. We just wanted to have fun, just do
yeah,
cool stuff, kill time. We wanted to get into video editing, so but then it was all sort of put on hold because then, after school it was you got to get a job, got to get a more education, got to pay the government. So I was
yeah,
like, what the hell am I going to do? And I thought I would just become like uh, I don't know, like a graphics designer, animator kind of guy. But then I found that like I enjoyed 2D animation, but then 3D animation, I'm like, it's too much maths, man. I
oh,
don't like
yeah.
all the maths. So my friends and my girlfriend at the time were like, "Well, you like movies and everything, so why don't you do multimedia?" And then I was like, "I can do that." Like I live in a bubble, man. Like I was
Yeah, yeah,
like, "Can anyone just do that?" So then I went and did a a bachelor's degree doing filmmaking and technical theater and everything. So a lot of stuff was put on hold, but then after that, again, people would be like, we'd be playing Overwatch together, and they're like, "Wow, you got all these funny things to say, and you put on all these voices. You should stream." And I was always like, "But I've never had a good computer, never had
yeah,
good home internet." I was like, "I don't know, man." And then friends just kept pushing me. They're like, "Come on, man, just do it. You're playing games all the time anyway.
yeah,
Give it
that's
a
true.
go." And
Yeah,
then so in 2020, you know where this is going.
here we
2020
go.
rolls around. Everything aligned. I was finally like, "Yeah, I'll buy a good gaming PC. I'll get this and that." And I started giving it a go. Then COVID. And then it kinda stuck.
Yep, yep. He's like, "Man, I gotta have to spend more time at my computer to make What? I'm locked in? Alright, I guess I'm streaming and see."
For me, it was sort of like, "What's changed?" Like, I just come home and
Yeah.
chill out here anyway, like, this is fun.
You come out of your room after 3 weeks, like, "What do you mean we can't leave the house?" "Oh."
Like, "Oh, what? I can't go see a movie every now and again?" It was, it was very, so that's how like, yeah, but yeah, during university time, it was a little bit of YouTube here and there, but nothing major. Like, I
Yeah,
would just sort of take gameplay from the first week or 2 of playing a new game like Ghost Recon Wildlands, and then take all the funny bits, edit it to music and add effects, and, it was just little things here and there. I tried doing, like, Sea of Thieves stuff, but, just nothing really stuck.
thick, yeah, yeah,
Like,
I feel that.
variety streamer, that's an easy way on Twitch, right? Variety is
Variety,
easy, right?
yeah, yeah, that's what they tell you. That's yep. It's not true. No, and I
Every
mean,
day is a challenge.
absolutely anyone who's a content creator who's like, "I'm gonna start as a variety streamer." Well, you've just picked hard mode.
It and I can attest for that. Not but then it was like, I was always, like, trying to find new work and just try to find things to do in real life because 'cause I've always just like, it's always felt like a real uphill battle since
Yeah,
graduating from uni because like, COVID came in and, like, a whole bunch of other life stuff. So, I've always just fallen back on gaming as, like, that's my safe place. That's where I can hang out with friends that I don't get to see very often.
yeah, yeah.
And, so then when I started streaming, it was, like, a bit of Halo, bit of Sea of Thieves, bit of this. But the things I gravitated towards the most was, like, if you've ever played Holdfast, the
Oh,
game where everyone's running around playing music through their headphones and they've got muskets and it's very silly.
I don't know it.
Um,
I know a lot of games, but I don't know that one. You
it's what's that period of history? Like American Civil War and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Everyone's lined up with muskets and fire, reload, and the British versus the British
yeah,
versus the world back in the day,
pretty much, yeah.
marching across Europe. So it's that, but then what people would do is they would do line battles where they would organize. It's kind of like
Nice.
role play where they would
Yeah,
do
yeah.
organized servers, Discord clans versus Discord clans, and you're an infantryman or you're an officer,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
would line
yeah.
up and like you can't
Okay.
fire unless you're in the line and people giving you the order to shoot,
Yep,
and you would do that every Friday night. And so I was doing that, and then I was doing Armor 3 ops with an Australian group for a while,
yep.
which was weekly. So,
Okay. I
it's
know what you're talking about now. I've peeked into this world and went, "Holy shit, this is so much bigger than people know." It's incredible.
yes,
It's huge
it's
servers and people are well into it and everyone's like gets in character and shit. And like the people get set up and like, all right, we're going for this battle's gonna be 8 hours this Friday night, kicking off from here. You got this guy's the general, is second command, and like everyone gets sorted out in these discords and stuff like that. And like I had a friend of mine who was showing me this sort of stuff, and he's like, oh, and we've all been assigned countries, and we'd be playing like all these different like nationalities and characters and stuff like that, and like and
yes.
oh, they went so deep into it. And outside of this little bubble, no one knows what's going on. It's just when
No,
you peek through the window, you go, "There's like 1,000 people in here having fun. What's going on?"
it's it can come across as so nerdy, which I get, but it scratches an itch for certain
It's
types of
like
people, like
D&D. It's like
yeah,
D&D, essentially, right? The people that get it and get right into it, they love it, they understand everything about it. People looking at it, they go, "Oh, they're having fun." But that's pretty much it. These people are just I don't know what the proper term, like the proper technical term for it is. It's sort of like kinda like
Milsim,
I'm thinking milsim,
the
but it's more
Milsim
like
world.
role play kind of side of it? I don't know.
Yeah, so I wasn't surprised. Like now, fast forward to where I'm currently at, it's no surprise that I now have an unhealthy relationship with Red Dead RP. Like you connect the dots and it's like it was always there, man.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's coming from someone that I did cadets in high school and then I enjoyed doing like laser skirmish and paintball in my free
yep,
time. So
yep.
the seeds were planted long ago.
Yeah, yeah. So you did what games did you play? You said Holdfast and, like, what was the other one? Uh,
Holdfast and Armor 3 were the
Arma
were
3,
the probably
yeah,
the
yeah.
first 2 that I really focused on just because of the social aspect and the community and the organized events. That was really exciting. And then that was
Yep.
my dipping my toes into the world of online role play, which which would come back to haunt me years later. Fast forward
Yep.
to 2024, and I can't escape it. I am now in a lot of trouble, but it's fun, right? I'm having fun, I think.
It's look, roleplay is it's a thing that it happens, and, like, it's very very conscious that it's like you can't casual. You can't be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna play for an hour." Like, no.
There's like an hour of setup, there's like an hour of outro, and then there's everything in the middle, and it's like and then the FOMO. The FOMO is real.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And particularly if you ever play in servers that, like, get hit cap and you get stuck in queue, and it's like, "Wanna get in there."
Oh,
But yeah, lockdown, was, like, work from home. It was, like, from 6 a.m. till 3 p.m. I'd work from home, and then at 3 p.m., I would turn my chair 90 degrees, and then I would start stream, and I'd play GTA RP
yes!
from, like, 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., then I'd sleep for 3 hours, wake up, rinse, repeat for a year.
It was a hell of a year.
Yep.
It was a hell of
That's
a
it's
year.
people looked at my stream and was like, "How did you stream these thousands of hours?" I'm like
It just kinda happened.
It's
Like,
it's
I
just
like
happened.
my chair, it's good. I
It
don't
you know,
need
it's
to move.
it's escapism. You go and you live this other world, and it's great, and,
Yeah.
and it's, particularly during, like, lockdown, and I think this is just not RP, but in just the internet in general, it was the only way to be social. Like, it was the
Yes,
only way.
literally.
Literally the only way. So, the idea of, "Hey, I've been stuck in this room by myself for, the entire day and, make working, which is boring as hell anyway, and then, like or jump online with 30 of my friends."
Yeah.
It's like, of course I'm gonna do that. Ridiculous amount of hours all night long. Why not? So, yeah,
Was there a particular profession you enjoyed the most in GTA RP? Like, were you a policeman or
okay,
criminal
so,
or
I am, I'm a little unique because there's we're gonna get into the RP hole, but that's fine. I'm sorry, listeners, but you're just gonna learn some shit. But you pretty much break down to there's pretty much 3 I wanna say, like, there's 3 main characteristics. There is, the people that are like, "This is my life." Like, I am the cop, I am medical, and they are fully serious about playing by the rules, everything they ask. Then there's other people that are like, "I'm just here for a good time. I just wanna hang out with my friends. I don't actually wanna RP. I just wanna screw around or whatever." And, like, when I say people that, like, think it's their life, that includes, like, the gangsters and stuff like that. They get right into it. And then there's
Mhm,
me, who's like,
mhm.
"I'm here to put on a show." It's like, I'm just gonna, and I was chief of medicine, and, like, I started off as, like, I was, like, EMS, but then I just deliberately was shit at it because I was just like, boring being good at it, I'd just be really bad at it, and like, my character was, like, hanging out with the wrong crew, and they were just terrible people that would always get me in trouble with my boss, and it was fantastic, and I was like and then the next season, I was, like, chief of medicine, and that was fine, like, I just fucking kept things under control, basically, best I can when all this stuff was out, and then I did, like, crime boss, and when I say crime boss, like, omega crime boss lord, and it was like we had, like, a whole
Oh.
I ran a nightclub, we had a crew of, like, 11, 15 people and stuff like that. We used to have, like, meetings and this whole like, all this stuff to it. But the thing that's different, this is where I would differ to, like, a lot of other people. A lot of people, they say that, it's RP or whatever, but they'll be DMing each other and, gang discords and all this sort of stuff. Not me. Everything is on stream for everyone to see. I don't care about
Yes.
legal locations. I don't care about any of that. You metagame me.
Yes.
I don't give a shit. It's not going to help you. All right. It's like I would do everything, and I I gave the server a pantsing as that crime lord because it sounds silly because there's so many mechanics and the game changes and each server's a little. But basically, the way that this server worked is there was 4 main illegal locations for making illegal products. Like the
Mhm.
and and I had found one, and I'm like, "I'm gonna farm it like crazy. We're gonna farm it," and then I rented a house, and I filled that house with it, and I'm like, "We're gonna sell it, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna sell more than anyone could ever comprehend." Now, you can only carry 10 bags at a time, and every single time you sell it, it pings, like, the police to say, "There's a drug sale happening. Go, do it, blah, blah, blah."
Uh-huh.
Right? And it's all on stream, so everyone could watch it. There was no one could be like this of it. So I wanted to do, 5,000. at once. So building up, we got like I got it all stockpiled up, and I put it all in there, and it wasn't like super sweaty because I wanted to get caught. I wanted it to be like, this is fucking hilarious where they bust me with two freaking moving vehicles of fucking drugs.
You're like
Anyway,
Breaking Bad. You're like Gus Fring.
so yeah, exactly. I am exactly that. I'm exactly that. We used to do like full serious stuff. Like we're all equals, and we'd stand in a circle and have mob meetings and stuff like that. But at the same time, we'd have parties at the club where we'll try to do the rainbow of drugs and see what happens, and just like get arrested for doing silly things like that. Meanwhile, my apartment is packed full of. Anyway, the whole thing was I like organized 4 drivers, and I went around town and I met all the other like criminals, I guess, around on the server. There's a lot. It's a pretty poppin' server. And I'll be like, "Hey guys, if you want to do anything, do it Saturday at 11 p.m." And like, why? Like, just do it at 11 p.m. No cops will be around, I guarantee it. And I'm like, and I'd be like, go kidnap the chief of police. 11 p.m. Saturday. It's like, and I see it. Like I saw a guy. Like I walked into a shop, and there was a guy who was like robbing a store, and it was really bad. He was just really awful at it. And I'm like, "Hey man, if you like doing crime, 11 p.m. Saturday."
You like crime.
So then when it got to the time when I started doing the crime, everyone started doing crime. It was like crime time, right? And the cops were poor cops were trying so hard. There's just like anarchy happening. And I remember going back and watching one of the streams, and they were like arresting people. They shot this other guy who was like the guy that I told to go like, "Hey, you like doing crime?" They shot him on sight. They just so they're like in the jail cells processing this guy, and on their screen, it's just up the side going ping, 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 all the drug sales going off. Because meanwhile, I'm over at this other location, just running 10 bags at a time over and over and over. And they're like, oh man, it was so funny. And then one of their cops, they're like, we need to figure out what's going on. Let's get Pole Air up. They got Pole Air up, and they like flew around, and as we could hear the helicopter, I'm on the radio to like call my mate. I'm like, all right, go grab the chief of police now. It's time. So like he's like then
Time.
like he's like tweeting out. It's like, I've got your chief of police, and he's like, I'm on Mount Chiliad. What are you got to do about it? Stuff like that. And I'll be like ringing him like, just throw her off the cliff and go. Just leave. It's like, I got through. It was an hour of constantly just running. 4 of us running these bags because it was like 10 at a time, selling them. And the cops showed up as I was leaving. Like I was in the car driving off, and I could see him on my rear vision mirror. And I'm just like, I just fucking robbed the server of $600,000, and legitimately, without any metagaming, without any glitching or nothing. That was just what we did. And then we all like had a mad party and everything else. And like we left clues, like the vehicles that we used were rented from my business, and there was witnesses, and there was stuff for the police to do. And I'm like, come get me. Like I was just like out of character. I'm like, come get me, guys. You know it's me. Come fucking search warrant, raid my house, do anything, just find me. Come and do it. I'll do it. Nothing happened. But what happened was there was about like 3 months of drama afterwards where like the cops were like, we got to find this guy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, check out my new $500,000 sports car.
I'm right here.
But I love that shit. And then like after I'd done that, because people were like, oh, when the next season comes up, we should run this club. I'm like, no, I'm going to be a cop. I'm going to be a cop because like I'm going to do like the stuff that they couldn't do because they never arrested me. It's like, I'll go and I'll go and arrest them sort of thing. And I think, yeah, and I think there was, oh man, it's so, this is where it gets a bit weird, right? So I became a cop, and there was just no crime. There was nothing happening. I'm like, well, there's only so many, people you can just arrest for speeding or whatever. And, so I was like, always, I was just like, I didn't want to be like sergeant or detective or have like a dark backstory, my past is coming to get me or anything like that. I didn't write anything like that. I was just a guy who likes being a cop. That's it. I'm here to walk the beat, work my shifts, go home, blah, blah, blah. Nothing special, whatever. There was no crime. And like there was other cops who were really good as well. So then, genius, right? Genius. Then I brought in Gma. Gma is a 144-year-old woman who loves eating men for breakfast and robbing everything on site, regardless of whatever scenario is happening. Like I would walk into a store with cops in it and just start robbing it. And I'll be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just making a withdrawal." And
Just
they
living
would
my
be
best
like,
life.
I'd be like, What? No, you can't do that. I'm like, stop me." He's like, "What do you want from me?" And, it was great. It was so many clips. People love the character, and people would see him, like, I would see other people's streams, and I'd like, when they see me, "Oh, no, not her. Not her." It's like
I've felt like that about some criminals in
Yeah.
the Wild West, that they are the cheekiest, devious bastards.
Shit that I got away with was ridiculous. Like, ridiculous. I
You
made
gotta
so much money.
those lawmen, those cops need to have their heads pulled in. They need their boss needs to be on them because, like, I've been very fortunate. I haven't done much crime stuff in Red Dead RP. Since I started in August last year, I've primarily just played as a character, George Hughes, who's in Law Department, where I feel like I bounce around between those 3 points you made, where I take it serious to a point to
Yeah.
sort of just, give off the impression of a competent lawman, but then I try and like, yeah, characters that have too many strengths, they don't have any weaknesses, like in
Yeah,
movies and
exactly.
everything, gets boring. You've got to have weaknesses. They've got to have like a kryptonite essentially. So there's a lot. I try to incorporate a lot of. He's not always all there. There's a bit of slapstick, very clumsy. So that's sort of my way of. Oh no, the criminals got away. So I'm not winning all the time because like
Exactly.
it,
Yes,
it,
and it's
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 the
more
fun.
interesting. It's more
You get
interesting that way.
it's no fun if one person's winning all the time. Like that's not fun for anyone. And
It
then
was
people
always
get sick
funny
of it.
when I would get away to be like, "You let a 144-year-old lady get away," and they're like, "What? How?" And I'm like, "I just walked into the bush," and it's like,
Oh,
it's things like that. But the whole idea was like, losing sometimes more interesting. Like
yeah.
getting into a cell with the cops where they're breaking stuff down, or like when they're investigating you, or like they're taking your shit. It's so much interesting than I ran and I hid, and
It's
then
and
I
those bushes, and if you're wearing the right color clothing, like, you just blend in and you're not moving.
Red Dead. So
It's very easy to do.
I think it's very point to say Red Dead crime is like a whole nother level. Like it's old west crime. It's you can't jump in a supercar and just jump off a cliff. It doesn't work like that. It's like
No!
it's horses
Those
and
poor horses.
lassos and
Those horses have feelings, and I have had way too many horse accidents, and it's a bit of a meme that my character is sometimes called the glue factory or
oh no.
George Hughes, destroyer of horses, and well, it would help if the law department could ride in formation, but that's something I'm trying to address now. But for the most part, I've just been a recruit. I've been corporal, a bunch of things. I've primarily enjoyed just following the lead of the sheriffs and the marshals because there's some insanely great players that I've
Yeah.
been able to play with that know what they're doing, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna make their life easier. Whatever they need, I'm there. I'm their golden boy that falls over a lot. But literally just within the last few days, things have just gone in a way where I've been made sheriff and of the West, and it's go time now.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I'm a
character
little
arcs.
nervous, but I'm excited
Yeah. And then, like,
because
the thing is, and I'm sure you're the same, it's like, this is content. Like, your character is developing, it's character development, there's stuff happening,
yes,
like, people are interested, and,
the
you know?
experiences that can happen if you can play the lawman right, and there's a bit of there's healthy give and take with the criminals.
Yeah.
It can really have like you've got your little things that happen every night that also then build up to big things that happen every now and again, like your $600,000 profit that night. Um,
Yeah, and that
and
was, like, 3 months of content, and that was my arc, and then from there, I can't remember where we went next, but I think we had, like, there was a third party got involved, like a rival gang or something like that, but then like, that starts the next arc, and then, and away we go, and it's about so, like, you can just and I think this is where the role play sort of falls down. There's some servers that fall down with this a lot. It's like, they get that grind mentality where they're like, "Oh, I just need to win because I need money because I need to buy the best whatever," and it's like, "Yeah, but that's not fun." Yeah, it's
no, it's
like
and we've seen our fair share of that. There's been some players that like I don't come across them at all. I know they're there. They're in my chat and they're in the Discord. I don't ever see them, but I know that
Yeah,
they've got a new house. They've got all the best guns. They've got the best horse. I'm like, but have you contributed to any stories
this is
in the
it. Yeah.
nicest way possible? To each their own, but have you contributed to any stories?
Yeah.
Like as long
Man,
as you
like,
got enough food to have a half decent horse, half decent guns, you got enough food to have water and food, so you can actually, stay hydrated and fed over 5 hours on a night. You're
yeah.
good. You're set. That's what you need.
I used to the absolute, like, pinnacle of this would be people would come in my chat, obviously, like, they'll be grinding and they'll be in my stream and they're watching it. That's sort of the mentality of what people do when they do RP. And then they'll be like, "Hey, man, you gotta eat and drink." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Like, eat, drink, you're gonna starve." I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna be funny when I pass out later. Just leave me alone." It's
I can see the thing. I
it's like,
I am
my
aware.
character's poor, he doesn't wanna spend food, he's too busy, he's not gonna eat. It's like, it's RP, it's not GTA. It's like, you gotta my character does this, and, like, I used to just, like, I want to buy the best gun. I just say, "Oh, government doesn't pay me enough. Fuck the government." It's like
No. Oh, dude, some of the pressure I have now as sheriff of the West is, essentially they've got it where the sheriffs of their jurisdictions can run that that precinct however they want, and then
Yep,
we can even determine what ranks there are in the system, and how much each rank gets paid.
yep.
So I'm gonna have to get some spreadsheets or something set up because I'm
Yep.
like, oh, no, and, like, I've already got, like, a to-do list of, like, okay, I need to have sit-down meetings with every employee. What are their wants? What are their goals? What don't they like? What do they like? Where do
Yep.
they see themselves in 3 years? So that I can be a manager, essentially, like a good manager, and
It's when
oh my god.
yeah, it's basically a job, right? You're HR now as well, so it's gonna
And I had one of the server owners, he wants to get it set up where there's a Native American law department up in the north, up in
Oh,
Ambarino,
wow.
in Wapiti, which I think
Yeah,
is super cool. So
yeah.
he's made a Native American character who's been coming along with me. We just had our first ride along last night, and where I'm talking to him about, what makes a good lawman, the penal code, how we deal with criminals, what our tactics and whatnot. And we're just riding through the country and this and that. And then we get to Wapiti, and he brings me into the tent. And he's like, "Oh, now that you're in, you cannot leave the teepee until you've smoked from the peace pipe." And I'm like, "Isn't that illegal?" He's like, "Well, it would be extremely disrespectful if you did." I'm like, and so as a sheriff, I'm like you're not gonna tell anybody, right?
It's
Like,
so
"Well, no, of
good.
course not." I'm like, "All right, well, I would hate to disrespect your cultures and traditions, so I will help myself to some opium from this here peace pipe." And then he's like, "Well, good, we need to find your spirit animal." And then, like, a big wolf's, like, poking its head through the tent, and I'm like, I don't I'm worried that it's gonna come back and get me where a marshal will be like, "Now, George, you've been smoking opium?"
We just invented drug testing, and we're gonna require
Like, I didn't want to. I'm just trying to strengthen the relationship with the people of this land. I'm trying to right our wrongs, and I
Yeah.
didn't want to refuse. But that's everything you do. Like, there's the risk that it's gonna come back and bite you, but that's what makes it exciting because it's like improv.
Yeah,
So,
it's literally that, and it's such a weird conversation when you have to try and explain to, like, I'm gonna say normie for lack of a better term, but it's like you have to explain to a normie. It's like, yeah, this is role play, and they're like, oh, so you're not playing Red Dead? I'm like, well, no, it's Red M. It's a program that basically takes all the assets and all the game files, rearranges it to give us a stage to do improv role play. Like, what the
it's
fuck does that
amazing.
mean? It's like,
Well, you
but
gotta
then it's like I remember because I dabbled in, like, deving for 5M, and I
Mhm.
remember we used to do dev streams, which is like you peek behind the curtains, like, yeah, we can do all this sort of stuff, blah, blah. And I remember, and it's still people bring it up to this day, and it's like the stupidest, most inconsiderate sort of whatever. But I'm like, yeah, I made a VL Commodore in GTA, and everyone's like, what? It's like it's got an interior, it's got everything else. We could drive around a VL. They're like, how? How is this possible? It's like it's game file on the internet. I downloaded it, put it in the
It's
game, and now we can
yeah.
we could do this. This, and they're like, I don't understand. Like, it just does not compute. I'm like, and there's every now and then whenever I would mention, like, 5M, or even when I jumped on Diablo for a little bit. Like, hey, is there any VL Commodores? like,
A what?
imagine.
It's
but
gonna
it's
replace
it's
the horse, replace trains and everything. It's gonna be the next best thing.
I invented the
What?
wheel.
Man weren't meant to fly. No, no, it's on the ground. It's
but
replace boats, everything.
Again, and then I'll go back to that earlier comment that I made. It's a bubble that a lot of people don't necessarily get in, like, don't understand. But then also, like, it's not small. It's hundreds of thousands of people, millions of
Yeah.
people playing, and it's insane. And then people, like, Great example is like GTA 5, 10 years old and still in the top 10 selling games for the entire time. Like, I don't
Mhm.
understand why people are still playing. There is a huge just role play community that have never
Yeah.
played GTA or know what GTA is, but they're like, "Oh, I watch the streamer, I love their characters and stuff like that. They got me set up with 5M, and now I'm in," and that's it. And down the slippery slope they go. It's like
It's it has been a very, very nice experience for me where I was just wanting to get into it. Well, I got into it around August last year. Where so
Yep,
I currently work in radio. I'm a audio producer. I work on a lot of things behind the scenes, but I cover breakfast shifts and stuff when I need to and
yep,
read the weather and the news and whatnot. And so it got to the point where my boss got really sick and he was covering the breakfast show for a while. Um, and I had to jump in and cover that, which ended up being the greater part of about 6 to 9 months.
right.
And so that completely threw off my schedule because then I'm having to go to bed early, not able to hang out with friends at night. Um, got
Yep.
to get up early in the morning. I'm not a morning person at all. And then I would be doing these weird split shifts where I have to get up at 5 a.m. I'm on air by 6. I'm then on air until like 10 a.m. Then I do a little production work. Then I go home,
Yep.
sleep or something, or just cry for a bit, come back, do a few more hours, do the logs, go home. And so it was really depressing. And so it completely threw off whatever semblance of a Twitch schedule I had.
Yeah,
Gone.
gone.
So, but at the time, I was hanging out with a lot of the ANZ generosity folk that I've becomes friends with, and they were all talking about, yeah, we're gonna be trying out this new server with RedDead up here. And I'm like, what the hell is RedDead up here? They explain it all. I'm
You were
like,
the
oh,
normie.
I love Red Dead Redemption 2. I love playing a little bit of online. I'm like, I love doing voices. Let's go. So I jumped in with a bunch of them as law recruits, and I quickly discovered, well, this could be my new thing to do. I'm
Hmm,
hanging out with friends. It's keeping me sane, and I can stream it because I did a bit of a check across a lot of channels that do this successfully, and a lot of them don't have redemptions. They don't have graphics. They don't have webcam. A lot of them, it's just because the focus is on people are there for the stories and the characters.
correct. Yeah.
They don't want to see me there in the corner going
Yeah,
like
in a lot of cases,
like
people
I'm
will tell you,
fine.
like, people that are right into it, like, "I don't wanna even see you." They don't wanna even talk to you sometimes. The amount of times that people I would be like, you said, like, it'd be like, "I'm gonna do something, like, dramatic," I'm gonna be really fucking dramatic or whatever. So, hide webcam, I'd fucking hide UI, it'll just be black bars would just appear top and bottom, we'd go cinematic mode, and then I'd just ignore chat and just go fucking full deep into something. And then like, I'd go back and, like, the viewers are like this, and I turn the camera back on and, "Okay, I
Yeah,
get it.
it's
I see what
it's
you're here for."
and it's I've tried not to take that personally, but it has been
It's
good.
hard
I've
not
been able to
to.
find that mix of when the important stuff's happening, the focus
Yeah.
is on that. And I've really felt that the last few nights since becoming sheriff, where a couple of hours go by, I just can't respond to chat because literally I go anywhere and people are like, Sheriff, I need to talk about this, and Sheriff, I need to talk about this. And I'm like, well, this is just how it is, I guess. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it really came in a good point because yeah, but when I wanted to get online and play games and stream, I was like, I was wrecked from work, so I didn't have to have the camera or anything on. It came in
Yeah.
at such a perfect time in my life, and it was such a great escape to hang out
Yeah.
with friends and just have a good time and forget about anything else. So, and now it's just sort of stuck, and yeah, it's
Once
been a
you're in,
good
you're in.
time.
You're in. You're in until, like, either you're and I see it a lot with, like, NoPixel and other big servers and big creators and stuff like that. They're like, "My character's story has come to an end, so we're gonna pull it there," and it happens, and sometimes it's really good, and I've had it before, and then again, I don't wanna harp on about GTA stuff, but I did no life it for a long time, but it's like, the thing and because at one point I was an admin for the server, so I had, like, I did the back end stuff with, a few other people, and just get sick of, like, people be like, "Oh, I've been caught 3 times. They repoed my cars. I ran out of money. Perma." Like, hang on, this story's just getting good.
Where's the
And then the next
redemption
day,
arc?
like, I would fall asleep and I'd wake up and like, "Oh, this guy permed last night. He's got a new character. His name's this now, and he's working at the garage." Like, "Isn't his other character working at the garage?" Like, "Yeah." So he's like fucking respawned. That's all he's done. It's like, I'm like, Give a good story." And like, we had characters where I think, well, actually, my crime boss character, if I remember, the end of his arc was, "This fucking town's crazy. You all suck. I fucking did it. I'm leaving," and we just flew off and left. into the sunset, and then people were like, "These don't go." It's like, it's your problem now.
But that's good that you've left it open-ended where you could come back
Could
if
come
the
back.
opportunity ever come back. That's
Yeah,
cool. I did
and
that
like
once
it
when I needed a break. I just went off on a boat and was like, "Maybe I'll come back, maybe I won't." And people were like, "Ah!" And I'm like, "Ha ha ha!
yeah, and I did
Suffer."
it like I think previous season and stuff like that. We got run out of town because we pissed off too many gangsters, bikies, and stuff like that. And then the friend of mine who was playing as well, she's like, "Oh, I really want to play still." So I'm like, "Oh, well, guess your character went back without me." And then like her character went back, caused a heap of shit, and then like my character went in, tried to like save the day kind of thing, and it was fucking
Oh.
great because everyone's like, "Oh, they left. That character's gone. They're dead." And then like a week later, like, "Oh, fuck, we're dealing with this again." And it's like comes back, and it's cool stuff. But when you get like I don't know. I just encourage people to ride the roller coaster. In the end, it is a game, and like if your character gets screwed over, get screwed over. Just play it out. It's fun, and you can always just create another character afterwards. Not a problem. It's
Yeah.
I love watching. I hate the oh my story's gonna end. Guess I die. It's like no, you don't have to die. You can
At
do
least
other
play it out a
things.
little bit more. Like, they're literally discarding the 3-act structure. Like, this is
Yes,
the conflict.
and
This is the 2nd act.
this is
We
where
now
we
want the
break
3rd
down.
act.
This is where we break down the people that life the game, the people that know life the game, and then the people that are entertainers. Like I've set up my arc and my roller coaster and everything else. Like I remember there was like, and it was like because I get the same way, right? And the reason why I stream so much like during COVID and whatever, it's because I didn't have a camera on. I was just in character half the time. I didn't have to really even acknowledge chat. It's easy, and I
Mhm.
loved it. But I remember that it was just we are fucking around because we used to just go like rob shit constantly. Because like, oh, if they haven't caught us yet, we'll just keep doing it till they do, sort of thing. And I remember me, my mate Lebo guy, and Shelby, it was the hostage. So we used to just like we'll just pick random people as hostage. We knew them, we're friends, whatever. Just take them as hostage, whatever. So at this time, me and Shelby's character were married, and like I'm like, yeah, fine, just take her hostage. She'll be fine with it. Don't worry about it. And then as we're in this in the service station, we're robbing it. Lebo guy accidentally shoots her in the head. It's accident, like he's finger slipped. And I'm like, I guess we're gonna be role playing out how you shot my wife.
It's like that Pulp Fiction scene. I just shot Marvin in the face.
It's literally that. And the cop's like, "You don't have a hostage anymore." I'm like, "Well, what it's like-
Oh, no, they're fine. Like, prop him up, like, "Ah, fine, yeah."
he
Just
he said that he was literally like he was sitting there at his computer and like holding doing the thing whatever, and his phone rang and he jumped scared and he went pulled it. But that was it. But then we had to have this whole drama where I was fucking pissed off at him and shit like that, and I had to go fucking it was a whole thing, whole
as you
night.
would.
Just yeah, it's not again. This is where it comes back to that improv thing where you're like, okay, well, we're just gonna have to fucking roll with this now. This is the story,
Yeah.
we thought we are gonna have a chill night robbing banks, but instead here we are in fucking back alleys having dark meetings about how I'm gonna murder his family or something. It's like it took a real turn.
Like, "Oh,
That's
who in your family do you like the least, mate?" Like, I've been so
but
scared of that myself. There'll be times where we'll be dealing with a bank robbery or something, or I'll be holding up a criminal to like so that someone else will cuff him. And I will be really deliberate. I will have my finger like way up, and I'm like focusing on it, like, don't click, like, don't. I'm like really trying not to, but I swear one day I'm gonna accidentally click.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, you just got to play it out. It's the nature of the beast.
That's it. That's it. And like, people used to always like rag and they're like, "Oh, you never catch anyone, or you're horrible at the game." I'm like, I'm not trying, dude. It's like, yeah, especially in GTA, you get behind cover, you just like get the gun, and just spray it up there like this. It looks
Yeah,
cool. You see people
it's
like go first
yeah.
person, they dome and people like there was this guy that I was friends with him. Thank God he was like friends with me. It's like I don't know if he had like aimbot or what, but he would dome cops from hundreds of miles away as they'll come, like as they're driving up, he would dome them and they'll be dead in the car. I'm like, wow, I guess we're getting away again. It's like,
It's like you got to know when to do that and when not to. But I agree. Like there'll be times where I could just just be fine when I've got the reticule over their head. But I try to sometimes I'll be like just blind firing in the general direction because that's what happens in real
it
life.
looks
Moves
cool.
it's like suppressive fire and it lasts longer than 2 seconds.
Yep.
It gets boring. Like I want it to have a cinematic feel,
I remember,
and
I
I
I
respect
remember
that.
being up until like 6 a.m. coding a script, and it was bullet damage. It was a bullet damage script, and basically, the whole goal was I want gunfights to last longer. So I was like,
Yes.
if you hit them in the hand or whatever, it barely hurts them. Hit them in the
Uh-huh.
chest a little bit. If you dome them between the eyes, it might kill them, be close. But like then it depends on which weapon you have. A fully automatic, huge recoil weapon, you know, excellent. Does good damage, but no one wants to use it because you can't aim with it. So I just bump that damage up, baby. Those guns that everyone's using, bump that damage down. It's like everywhere.
Yes.
And then you can even set it to like certain guns do more damage against weapons, against cars, and so it's like that. And I'm like, I spent so long just fine tuning it because all I wanted was shootouts. Like I want like people in cover, you know, I gotta reload, I'm out of ammo, stuff like that. That's so cool. And it's like, it's just, it was so, and it worked until people were like, oh, you just got to shoot him in the face now. And it's like, oh, you know, no, you know what it was? It was it's always like push and shove. Like you go, oh, I'm doing this for you guys. Trust me. Like you nerf my weapons. You suck. And then what they figured out was if you go up and you take hostage, which like grabs them and puts the gun against their head, there's no. So they'll just literally run up to cops, take hostage, shoot them. And I'm like,
Oh,
guys, you're just power gaming at this point. Just stop.
like, go play Red Dead Online. Go play GTA Online.
Yeah, but it's
Oh.
like for all the so it sounds kind of feel like I'm kind of harping on about it, but it's like for all the bad stuff, it's like, oh man, why you screwing around? We're trying to do this, but you'd have these like great scenes, like just amazing like shootouts, and you know, like we had like a train thing where like there was cars and helicopters chasing a train, and people were shooting at each other, and they were held up in a bit, you know, building. There was a you know hospital goes into lockdown and stuff like that. I think that one of the best ones was in kind of the last foray in Australian server anyway. I was the cop who was always like on duty and whatever. And I remember I think Shelby's character was a medical, and we were like we had to like arrested someone, and I was outnumbered. Like it was like I've arrested someone who has 8 friends, but there's 3 people on duty. So like game on, I guess, you know. And so we lured them into the car park underground, and I set up a kill box. And I'm like, I remember my character was like, because it worked, because we fucking murdered them all. And the character's telling Shelby's character, like, yeah, we set up a kill box. And she's like, you're a cop. I'm like,
What have
like,
you become?
like I had to do it. We had to, you know, it's fucking Judge Dredd out here on the streets. You know, we got to do this, and it was great. It's so good. But it's like it's so cinematic, and like people that saw it was great. They clipped it. You know, we put shorts up and stuff like that. There's so many great moments where like I literally that was my streams for 2 years. I had great numbers. I had shorts and YouTube videos and like content for fucking ages. Like a stream would put me on weeks of shorts on TikTok easily.
Nice.
And like people would just love the shit. And like they would fall in love with the characters, they'll make fan art and stuff like that. And it's just like this is crazy. And then you'll go and you'll talk to like I don't know, they talk to like a brand or whatever, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like,
Like,
what are you talking about? It's like
get a life. I do. I have 2.
and then you go, "I'm a variety streamer." It's like,
Like,
"But I
oh.
only play RP."
That's become quickly my life. I would dabble in checking out new releases and speedruns and stuff, but I just I need all the chances I get to get on because otherwise I miss the stories. And I have FOMO. The FOMO is real.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and it's true.
it's concerning.
It's
It's
legit. It's
but
yeah,
it's
and
very sweet how invested some people get.
y
It's a very nice community thing.
absolutely, and then and look, and for every jerk that you meet, there's 10 amazing people that are, like, just passionate about
Yes.
storytelling and wanna do it, and then there's all these people that I love it so much, I wanna be a part of it, I might not be very good at it, but, you know, I've got lifelong friends from other countries who they still message me like, "Oh, man, remember when we were both, like, EMS and stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I used to sit in the car with the engine on." Do you like he didn't know he didn't like, he knew how to, like, revive people, but he didn't really know the RP side of things. So he was just ready to revive. Like he was like this with the paddles, waiting for someone to drop
That would
dead.
be me. Medical stuff? I don't know what I'm talking about. What the hell is that? I feel that I was very lucky because it's the server I play on Diablo RP, it's a Australia based.
Yeah,
There were so many players that all converged on PAX last year in
yeah,
Melbourne. So I got to have drinks with a number of players and like the owners, the devs, the staff team, all my mates that play on it from Generosity. And it was it was a really nice experience,
yeah,
especially getting to see because I would mainly only know some people from their iconic voices that they've
yeah, yeah.
disappeared
Then you
into,
hear them in
and then
person.
seeing them do it in person. Oh, like this is so cool, man! Like there's
Yeah,
some amazing. players out there. It was great.
Yeah, it is, and it's really good. And look, and for people that are listening to the podcast and they're like, "Oh man, this sounds like a lot." It's like it's not. It's just that when you go all in, you go all in. Like it's like you can do a lot. You don't have to be. And one thing that I like to do, and kind of the thing that's tied me over since is like I'll be Joe Citizen and I'll play on big servers, like thousands of people online kind of thing, and I'll be Joe Citizen, and it's so like, it's just great. You get bloody or you get arrested for no reason, you get shot for no reason, you get kidnapped, whatever, and then just I don't even have to and at the end of the night, I'd just be like, "My guy's going back to his hotel, he's had a hard day," and then I just go to sleep and I come back, like, a couple months later or whatever. Like, you don't have to be law man, breaking you can just be, "I'm here,
Yeah.
and I live here, and I walk around and talk to people." Like, people just role play days, normal day. Do delivery jobs and pay your bills and just be part of the world. And
And
and while
here's
you're doing that, you'd show up in a corpse stream, and then, your corpse come up to you and ask you where that guy run away, and you go, "Oh, he went in that way," and then you're like, "Shit, I
where'd he
told him the
go,
wrong
partner?
way."
I think a lot of people lie to me and they'll be like, "Yeah, they went that way," when they mean the other way, and I'll be
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. I
"Damn it.
panicked. I panicked. There's too much pressure.
Good
But yeah,
thing my
it's
character's an idiot," which is not hard to act as.
But yeah, it's absolutely, it's something that everyone can get into, and yeah, find the right server. Start off small would be my advice. Like
Yes.
if they go, "Hey man, you need to fill out a 13-page essay on what your character's beliefs are, and we'll get back to you in 6 to 8 months." It's like that's not the server for you, right? That's not for starters. That's they put the barrier entry for a reason. You go to like Diablo is fantastic for Red Dead. And it's just you just find someone that is streaming it and just come in and say, "Hey, I've heard the server's good. What do you reckon?" And oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, tell you what's going on and all that stuff. It's yeah, very accessible. And one thing I will say, and this throwback to the earlier comments. Once you're in a niche like Red Dead RP or whatever, or in a server or in a community or whatever else, you will get viewers no matter what. They will come and they'll be welcoming to you, and they will prop you up and help you develop all the other skills that you can take to your other content creation. So being able to
Yes.
talk, being able to stream, to the technical side of things, they will help you with all that. It's a really good way. And it was a joke that we made earlier. Like variety streaming is the hard mode, niche streaming is the easy mode, and it is a reason is because you basically you get brought into a community immediately, and as long as the vibe is right for and everyone fits, it
Mhm.
takes off and it goes really well. So I think that's really important. Like for me, like I was just like so like COVID was such a shit time, and like the being able to put all my creative energy into something that actually involves multiple people and being social was like amazing. Like if was gonna solo fucking Elden Ring like everyone else was during COVID, then I probably would have gone insane. So it's like,
I feel that. No, I how good was it that, like, games like Fall Guys and Among Us came out during
yeah,
COVID?
amazing. I played so
Oh
much
my
Among Us
god.
and so much Fall Guys. Every time the server goes down would be like on Among Us, and like, people would be doing their character voices and stuff like that.
Yes!
It was so good. It was good. It's good social output is probably a good way to put it. And yeah, definitely recommend it. And Bob's yeah, like I've watched your streams. Your streams are like you're already at that point where you've got your character down pat, you know what's going on, and you're in business mode, right? You just get into it and do it and stuff like that. Where like I've got another friend who jumped on the server recently, and he's just sort of testing the, and he's just like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm walking here. This guy with a hat talked to me. I don't know what his deal is. This guy, I think he hit on me. I think that guy's accountable. It's
We've
like-
had we're about a month into season 2 since there was a server reset due to a number of reasons.
yeah,
And well, let me just drop a few major plot lines we had during season 1, which was August until about a month ago. We had the Beans conspiracy, where a fellow lawman, Lawrence Ironjaw, played by Lontre from Generosity, was always talking about the price of beans fluctuating, going up and down, and how he was so mad how expensive beans were because they're his favorite food. And he would just bug the rest of us law recruits and be like, "Ah, Joel, shut the hell up about the beans for 2 goddamn minutes." Be like, "But guys, there's something more at play. I can't believe how expensive they are." And then it turned out into some of the staff and devs created like characters that were government officials. They're like raising the prices deliberately.
I love it.
Um, then there was like connections to Mexico and it was and then we were, like, investigating it, and we're, like, trying to, like there was a time where we kidnapped a who we thought was the governor, and then we had all these Mexicans coming to kill us, and then the governor got stabbed by a local, and then he died, and then I went and buried him. We went and buried him in the desert, and then people mentioned that they were gonna go check the desert, so then I was like, "Well, I gotta go do something," so I went up, dug up the body, dumped it in the river, all this stupid stuff happening, and then it got connected with this other plot line, which was the Mountain Man, which was just there was just one time, a fellow recruit and I, Ames and Hughes, we were sent up to the mountains to take a photo without our shirts on as punishment for something we did wrong in the law department to make sure we'd remember. We climb up into the mountains, we're taking the photo, and we see on the glacier there's a guy walking around with a big stupid hat and he's holding a lantern. So we're like, all right, we got the photo, let's go say hi. Cause we're trying to be
Yeah,
inviting
yeah.
everyone. We're walking over. I've got my lantern up. Like we're like, "Howdy, partner. How you doing?" The person sees us. You can see they're sort of moving around in like a panic state. They drop something and they run away. We're like, "What the hell? We're not coming to threaten them or anything. Like they're not in trouble." We check the item on the ground. It's a printed photo of that person that was stolen from a photographer on launch day. Which
What?
it's and like I remember the image coming up on screen, and I'm like, I remember seeing this. I was shown this on launch day. Um, there was a photographer in country played by another Gen Ozer, the Lyrical, and he would do music in saloons and he would also be a photographer. He took
Yeah.
a photo of this character, and before, like, he gave him the photo, and before the guy just ran off without paying him. And I was present, and I was told that I was like, oh well, we'll write a report if we catch him. We'll have him talk to get that money for you. Weeks went by. We did not think about it at all. And then when I picked up this photo, I was like, it's this guy. I remember this.
Well, how
And
did
so
he drop it? It's just was he
he just
like
dropped it on the ground, becomes like a little crate, like a little
yeah,
floating
but okay,
crate.
so for that to happen, then he was like he just dropped it? Like
He had it on himself like the whole time. Ever since then, he just had it. And he thought we were coming to ask him about that. So he was dropping the
so he
evidence.
ditched
He
it.
legged it.
Oh my god.
And
He's
so
like, they've been
then
chasing us for months.
that's what he thought. But, but in all actuality, it was one of the server owners just up there. He didn't know anyone was around. He was up there setting up, doing tests on like camps and stuff. And we just happened to see him. And so he's like, oh, I need to make something of this. And so he runs off, but then it led us to an investigation where we're asking around people like, have you seen this man? What's his name?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
went to the photographer. We got his name. We got his old job. We found out that he used to be a marshal and all these other things. So then it involved us going up and do multiple. We would just go check the mountains every now and
Yeah.
again just to see if we
The
could
mountain
find
man.
him. And
The
then he
mountain
would be
man.
watching us from hills,
That's
and
so
then
cool.
he would be attacking. He would be shooting at us with explosive ammo, and we would like get the jump on him, and he'd be out on like a train bridge up in the mountains. We'd get there, we're like, stop! And he would jump off the bridge to escape us. And we'd look down. It was like in a movie where there's like a supernatural being. We'd look down and be like, no one
Where'd he
could have
go?
survived that fall. There's no
Yeah.
body. And just all this stuff kept happening. And we ended up finding out he was like a cannibal. He wanted to capture us and eat us, turn us into beans. We found out that he used to be, yeah, a marshal and stuff. He was somehow involved. He knew about the beans conspiracy. And eventually we caught him. We took him to Siska. He had somehow more power in Siska prison. He actually sent out a gang to do a fake bank robbery to lure
God.
me in, capture me, take me to the prison. He's like, why'd you bring me here? And he's like, because you wouldn't answer my telegrams and come have a chat. So I had to do it the old fashioned way and drag you here. And it was stuff out of a movie, man. And eventually we executed him. We hung him, we electrocuted him, and we blew him to hell, and then we threw his body down the glacier. And then and then my character had a whole bunch of other things happen, which it got really out of hand. But he would appear as if he was like in my character's head,
Oh my
like still
god.
haunting me. It was so yeah, the big ones of season one of Diablo RP was the Beans conspiracy and the Mountain Man.
What
And
I love about this is so other people that played like season one, like they probably like my character brought a horse and we went hunting and I met this cute girl at the saloon and she shot at me, so I left. And that was like my season one. It's like it's 'cause it's always other people's stories and stuff going on. It's just so funny.
yeah, and
And
a lot of them you just
it's
don't hear about. it's
No.
just you mainly hear about the people that are making the YouTube videos and the streaming and the word of
Yeah,
mouth, but
yeah.
a whole bunch of other stuff I learned about, I had no idea was happening in country,
Exactly, exactly. And
and
the difference between
beautiful
Red
thing.
Dead and, like, GTA, like, there's Twitter and stuff. Like, there's people will tweet shit, so you'd be like, "Oh god, these people are beefing on Twitter or whatever," and that like, it's a totally different thing. Where now in Diablo, if you don't talk to anyone, you have no fucking idea what's going on. Like,
No,
there's no
or
Twitter.
pray someone puts up a poster that's relevant to you, but if not,
Yeah. Nah,
you gotta people be like, "Where are people? Where do I learn this? Where do I learn that?" It's like, go and do it.
gotta go talk
Like,
to people.
roll the
Yeah.
dice, man. Like, that's all it is.
I'll never
Good luck.
forget as an admin, there was this beef that was, like, going up, and there was a guy, and he was like, "Oh, there's some guy on Twitter, and he's been threatening us, and he's gonna hunt us down, whatever. We need police protection, all this sort of stuff." And like I was playing it out and all that, but like we're getting nowhere. We're following the clues. I'm like, we're doing everything right. Don't know why we're not finding this person or whatever. And then like then you're like you'd log off and like, oh, he was in town last night. He was asking around. It's like, fuck. I don't know. Should have. I'm gonna stay up longer tonight. I'll find him. I'll be here. Blah blah. Blah. Anyway, I got tired of it, and we're talking to the owners and the admin team, and we're like, let's suss out what's going on. So we pulled his phone records and stuff. Because like we say in the game that we can do that as well. Like you can put send it to DOJ, and they can do phone records, and it's do all that lawyer shit, whatever. But I was like, before we do all that, let's just have a little peek. And turns out he was playing both characters. He's hunting himself. And I'm like, mate, there's so many other people. Like, just DM someone, they'll play a character for you. If you need to, like, scary boogeyman to come hunt you or whatever. This doesn't work because you're never gonna meet yourself. Like, what are you doing? It's no, just stop.
What?
It's just like stop.
How does that happen?
So like his
Like,
character would be so his character would be like come to the police station, like, oh, I'm getting hunted, whatever, blah blah blah. And he'd like walk out and then he would log into a different account on his phone, tweet, I'm coming to get you. And he'd be like, he's on Twitter. And I'm like, that's not role
what?
playing, my dude. You gotta talk to other people. It's like you can't do this by yourself. But
What is it, a
it's
one man show?
yeah,
What?
literally. Yeah.
What?
It
Like,
was
there were times
fantastic.
where I would sometimes play as like a criminal character every now and again, and people would mention that character to my law character and be like, "Well, good luck catching him. I've
Yeah,
just
yeah.
never come across him." And I'd be like, "Well, I'm not going to then go investigate myself.
Yeah,
That
the
would
amount
be
of times I'll be like,
stupid."
I can't. My crim, so like, and it was fine because my crim character, like when I was a cop, my crim character was the old lady. So I would cause immense chaos and then switch character. And I'd be like, wow, guys, it's really busy tonight, isn't it? It's like, what's going on? Like, there's this old lady on the run. I'm like, oh man. Something tells me she's probably gone to bed.
I love that
Past her
there's that
bedtime.
like subtle like, I guess they're just not around anymore,
But yeah,
or they might not be around for a few days. And you're like,
but it was really annoying where like they'd tell me things on one character. I'm like, fuck, if my other character knew that, that'd be something. But no, I can't.
then you got to be careful not to cross the streams. Like, I don't want to cheat, but it's like, oh, I want to
Yeah.
limit how much information I hear that I'm not supposed to hear.
Yeah, yeah. Or I'll just be like, okay, well, I'm just never ever going to do that. Like my crim character's like, here's the meth lab. I'm like, well, now my cop character's never going to find that. It's like, damn it. But it's all part of it. It's like an ecosystem sort of thing. You gotta try and like provide as much as you can, and hope that people pick up on the breadcrumbs and make cool stories and stuff like that. But sometimes they just don't get it, and it's like, well, give it a little
Yeah.
whatever.
I
But
always be
I
very dramatic and I'll joke, people need to go do a theater improv class, which, not expected, but that's the thing. It's in improv and clowning and all the theater principles and stuff like that. It's you don't want to sandbag other people if it's reasonable. Like,
correct.
that's counterproductive. There's give and a take. And if everyone can play fair with that,
Yeah, if you say you're
it's a
getting
great time for
hunted,
everyone.
you're getting hunted, my dude. No, I believe you
Yeah.
100%. But then when we're doing this for 2 weeks and the other person hasn't showed up yet, it's like third act, you know.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm trying to do something cool for you, but you're not receiving it, like, then it's like, well, why am I gonna go out of my way to interact with you anymore? And then you just don't
Yeah,
want that. You want everyone to have a fair go. It's,
yeah. And I remember I was playing on a big American server, and it was like, and one of the streamers I got along really well with. Like, she was so funny, and I loved her character and everything else. And I just like, I'm like, I can't wait. It's like my character's gonna love your character. Never fucking saw each other. Never ever fucking saw each other. For like 6 months, I'm like watching the streams and stuff like that. I'm like, "Oh, well, I'll see you later. I'm jumping in now." And I'll jump in. Nah, nothing. I had an old lady character as well. I ran into her as my old lady character,
Oh!
and but like I used a voice changer and shit. I had a very sensual voice. She didn't know it was me. It's like she like came into my stream at the end of the night. She's like, "Oh my fucking god, you're the old lady." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the old lady." It's like, "What about our other characters?" I'm like, "I fucking don't know." And then I remember I was like 6 months in, I was living out of a garage in the game because like I was just like a procurer. Like I just find stuff and I sell stuff. Like I was like the middleman playing the game. And I met this very lovely girl who was going through the rubbish, which is my favorite pastime. And she's like, "Oh, do you have any of this?" I'm like, "I have a whole warehouse full of it." "Oh, can I buy it?" I'm like, I sell it." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And then I brought out this. I had this van, and I just full of like I think it was like fertilizer. They use it for making bombs for the bank jobs or something.
Oh, yes.
And then, like, she's like, "We gotta go meet at this club." And I'm like, "Oh god, I'm gonna get fucking robbed here. It's fine." And I went to this club, and then I finally met this character that I'm like, "Oh my god, it's her. Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. Be cool. Be cool." It's like, "Sabron!" And then, like, I sold her all this fertilizer and stuff like that, and I never saw her ever again. But it was like,
Oh!
it's like, sometimes, like, it's if the story, it's you can't like metagame like, "Oh, I just walked into your house by accident. Hello there." It's like, no, it's you gotta be organic and play with what you're given. And, like, I ended up having really good arcs and stories with the other people that I knew, and she was always, like, kinda like the person that's, somewhere else or doing other things or whatever else. And I remember, like, we would our characters would interact, but we never had, like, a proper conversation or whatever. It's like, "Oh, man, I really wanna play with that person," but, our characters don't really work. She ended up like, the old lady and her, they got along great, so I just ended up playing more old lady, but it was, like, it's
Bring on
just
the old
it's
lady.
yeah, it's crazy. And then look, and RP stuff is really cool, and I really like that community stuff, and Australia is really nice, and I feel like it's good, but then when you get to those bigger servers when it's, like, hundreds and thousands of people, it can be a bit full on, and that's why I say it's always good to, get started at the very least in a local server where you kinda people know you, you know them, everyone kinda gets the vibe of what's going on and fits in, and, like, I feel like it's
Yeah,
really
don't go
important.
too overboard too fast. Get
Yeah, yeah.
overwhelmed.
Yeah, when you jump also, like, big servers and stuff like that, people got their own shit going on, so they're kind of like, "Oh, I'm already dealing with this or dealing with that, blah, 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 you're just another person, whatever," where I feel like the chances of you walking in a salon and then someone you talk to, and then you get this kinda yes and conversation going on, like, "Hey, I really I saw a bear up the street, we should go check that out." Like, "I love bears, let's go check it out," and then off you go, and it's more chance of that happening, and I
Yeah.
and I feel like the really good role players, they know that it's yes and it's not no, no thanks, I don't wanna do that. Like, it's like someone goes up to you and say, "Hey man, you wanna go on an adventure?" You don't say, "No." It's like
Yeah, that is the opposite of what you're trying to achieve with improv. It's like, that is just not it's just not how it works.
yeah,
You've
yeah,
just
it's like
denied yourself God knows how many good experiences.
exactly. And this is
I wouldn't mind.
and I'm getting to a point here, and the point that I'm trying to make is that people that go because people will go and I'll look at this and go, "Oh man, these guys are crazy. Their RP has fucking got to them, they're done." Uh, that mentality, like, it can translate, and it translates, and you go, "Okay, well, shit, now I'm in a real situation where I'm talking to these other people, and, there's an opportunity up for me." Instead of being like, "Fuck, I don't wanna do that, I don't wanna I'm nervous," whatever, it's like you say, "Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Sure, what's the worst gonna happen?" And then
Right.
you end up
Yeah.
making new friends and getting more opportunities and stuff like that. And one really good thing, and this is gonna link back to, I'm sure, what you're gonna talk about next, is that we did as I was deving and working on this GTA server, I'm like, "I wanna use the GTA server to raise money for charity." I said, "What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a 12-hour just nuts-a-thon." And when I say it's nuts, we're gonna do shit that people haven't seen before, and we want everybody to be cool with it, is basically what we told the server. Like, "Be cool." Basically, myself, Shelby, and a couple others got coded up a heap of different scripts, and basically we said is, "Okay, well, if we hit X amount of thing, we can activate some crazy crime." And when I say it was like crazy crime, it's like monkeys rob the nuclear plant for pineapples. And they're like, "Okay."
The
And the
best
money
kind of
came in.
pineapple.
They're like, "Here's $200. Like, here you go rob the go thing." So then we would just turn into our pets into monkeys, go out, and I remember we'd coded the script so that when we actually robbed like it was basically a rewritten version of like robbing the convenience store, but you go in and you rob a field and get pineapples from it because the cops love pineapples, like a thing that they talk about. And so we're like, they came out, but then like we spawned all these other monkeys. So it was like, which monkey's the real monkey? Who's robbing the field? Because all these monkeys. And as soon as like we stole the pineapples, we get in the car, we do a car chase, whatever else. But we had like 20 of these things. And like we even had it like if you donate enough, like you tell us what you want and we'll create it. Like we'll just do it live. We'll make it happen. And like it was like, oh, we want to see you rob the bank, but with ramp cars. I'm like, all right. And they just throw money at it. And then while you go, we're like, the cops will throw it up and we got fucking ramp cars out the front. They're just like, come on. And I'm like, here we go. That's so funny. And we had one where we robbed a store and it was all robbery stuff. It was all like cops and crims because that's what people. And then we turned up and like we had tiny little funny like clown cars, but we also had clown cop cars. So when the cops showed up, we're like, they're for you, and you get. So when there's like, we took off, and there's like 6 little clown cop cars chasing us, and then we did. It had a great script where we robbed the yacht, and then I spawned a pirate ship. The pirate ship was like 10 times the size of the yacht. So we're leaving now, and then this pirate ship comes out of the ocean nowhere. We just get on it. And it's just like it moves so slow. It did nothing. It was so buggy.
And
We
then
had
we
that.
make our escape.
Had turbo charged lawnmowers one as well. Oh, there's so many. There's so many. But we raised like 2.5 grand or something in about six
Hell yeah.
hours. Like 6 hours of just chaos and stuff like that. And it was
A good time
so
for everyone.
there was so many clips and just shenanigans. And the cops would, like had no idea. Like we robbed the place as cougars, and like we filled the bank with like animals and stuff like that, and just silly, stuff, really. And I remember I turned myself into a fish, and one of the cops came over. It's like, oh look, it's a little fish, like a Magikarp or something. We'll put it back in the water. And then when she put me in the water, I turned myself into a shark.
Oh, no, you actually evolved. Oh my.
But yeah, it was so good, and like the whole server just on board, and half of them were in the stream donating and stuff like that, and just doing silly stuff. It was so funny, but to think that what was just like a silly, we just stream on whatever we're doing this RP thing, and it was quite small back then as well. It was only a small, 30 people, 40 people, whatever. It's like 2.5 grand for charity, 6 hours, done, and everyone fucking loved it. So it's
Hell
like
yeah.
I'm sure that I think we were working with the Starlight Foundation then. I'm sure that they don't know what RP.
Look, we're gonna trust you, but the results will be good.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, I don't know where this money came from, but thank you.
Thank you very much, RP, whatever that is.
Whatever this is, yeah. Did what? Rob someone for it? No, no, no. In the game, in the game. Oh, it's fine, it's fine. But yeah, it's yeah. So and like I feel like we do need to cover off about RP forever, but we can. Um, but like again, and sort of I suppose my introduction to you and a lot of the people that we've been talking about is through the Generosity crew and what they do.
Yes.
And so let's go back and sort of say, how did you get into Generosity? Like, how did that happen?
Oh,
'Cause
well, I've only just recently sort of become part of the events team over the last year, which has been really cool. But I've sort of been in and around the community for the last couple of years. So I'll try and make it as simple as possible. So on the side, I've worked for a company that provides staff as like brand ambassadors for gaming companies, primarily
okay,
at conventions and malls and music festivals and whatnot.
yep,
So
yep,
with that, go out and do that in Brisbane, Gold Coast, up in North Queensland, all of that, which was great. COVID strikes, obviously can't go out and do events. So we were very lucky that through the government, the owners of that, the primary staff, and then a number of us were given essentially a full-time wage for the duration of COVID, which was so a lot. It was very hard because a lot of my friends lost their work, but I
yeah,
gained more work, and I was like, I feel very guilty. So over the year, we did like a Friday night variety show. Then we would host lobbies across various games, and we were sort of working our way up. Then comes around PAX, the usual PAX time,
mm,
because my employers provide a lot of the staff for PAX every year. They were in contact, and they managed to get us 3 segment slots during PAX Oz Online 2020, I think it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And they needed a couple of hosts. And so they lined up myself and my friend Anna. And we did 3 online panels for PAX Australia, which was games on the Barbie, where it was a lot of interacting with chat, sort of between other segments, which was a great time. And of course, leading into that to do the tech test, I met Lontre and a whole bunch of the others, and we just immediately, I think within 5 minutes, we're talking about Sea of Thieves rather
Yeah,
than
okay.
actual testing audio and stuff. So, and I was like, I really like the cut of this guy's jib. It reminds me a lot of myself, and he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he seems like a chill dude. And then just I would just get more involved with watching what they do, playing Sea of Thieves with them, and then just gradually just became friends with a whole bunch and playing Red Dead RP.
The way it goes.
Um, it was really cool. And then I helped out at the Slumber Party earlier this year. I should be helping out at the Wombat Theatre for PAX this year, as well as hopefully hosting a panel or two, and just doing my part. But the other thing that really helped sort of mesh it all together was, of course, we didn't get segments to do online for PAX. Was it PAX Oz Online 2021? I think they did it online again.
Yeah, they did an online
Um,
yeah. I think they were
Unfortunately, we didn't get any
hopeful,
segments
but
because we
yeah,
were
anyway.
thinking COVID's nearly done, right? It's nearly done, right? We'll
Yeah,
be out of it. So
what
we
we
didn't
all
get any
thought.
segments lined up. So I was like, oh, I'm going to buy a virtual ticket for for it anyway. And there was a little thing that said, would you like to opt in for being randomly selected to be in the Omegathon? And I was like, what the hell's the Omegathon? Look it up.
No.
It's an annual tournament. They do it every PAX. And I'm like, yeah, I like playing games. Like, I'm not overly competitive, but I do like having a bit of fun. Let's tick that box. Next thing I know, sometime later, I'm getting a call from overseas. Hey, this is Travis from Child's Play. Would you like to compete in the Omegathon for PAX Oz Online? I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. We're
Sure, why
still
not?
in semi quarantine. Compete in that. It's a lot of fun. Meet some people. I come second because the last game is a DJ rhythm game. And firstly, I suck at them. And then secondly, I maybe memed a bit too hard, bumped my arm, and I lost my streak.
Oh,
Um,
no.
so I lost. And of course, if you come second in the Omegathon, you win 2 tickets to the next PAX, and you can compete again. So then I went
Oh,
to the in-person one, and I had some spare time, so I went in the Omegathon again, whole bunch of rounds, came second again. They're like, "Oh, that's funny, that Corbs. This is 2 in a row." I'm like, "Yeah." And some people are like, "Are you doing this deliberately just to get free tickets every year?" I'm like, "No.
I never even thought of that. That's a brilliant
Like,
idea.
I would really like to win and it be done because I can get in anyway because my employers would really like me on a booth. But I've told them I'm going to take this year off to do the Megathon and do some other stuff. And they're like, all right, Coleman, go do that. Have your fun. There's always next year. Then next year, I compete again, second again. So it's 3 years in a row I've come second.
Wait, does
But
that
every
mean you got
time I've done it, there's the generosity people with the Wombat Theatre where it takes place. So they just got to know me as who the hell's this guy that keeps competing every year and he keeps coming second. So it's a real icebreaker.
So wait,
If
does that mean you get to compete again this year? Is that what you say? Is that
I I did mention at the finals last year that I
stop
would
inviting me, I can't win?
I'd like to I joked, I was like, I'd like to go out on the second highest high I can. Um and just sort of retire while it's before it gets too embarrassing. They would love for me to keep coming back because I make it larger than life and I put on a bit of a show and act
Yeah, yeah.
extra silly, which isn't hard for me to do. But I kind of want to be put it to bed. So a number of generosity folks like Nutties, Game Train are like, you're doing it again, or else you're never becoming official events crew with generosity. We will block you. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do it. But it turns out because I'm going to be working at South by Southwest Sydney as
Oof.
well, and they're
Yeah,
back to back. So I probably need to fly back to Sydney on the Sunday.
is gonna
So
help.
I can't commit to competing in the Omegathon because, like, let's say I made it to the second last round or the finals. I probably got to get on a plane by then. That wouldn't be fair on anyone. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Kinda can't say yes.
so if there was the room for it, I was open to doing it one more time,
We get
just one more time. But
let's get someone in a Corb suit to, like, turn up. 2 kids in a trench coat? No, it's
funny you mentioned that. I may have someone, if I can give them my spot, I will. a mutual friend, the Fog Frog.
Oh my.
He's very interested in competing, and if I can, I will give him my spot, and he can
He would
take the
absolutely
torch.
he would go for that. He would
And we
he would go. He's a gamer, so, like, yeah, he
he's
knows
got
his
some
stuff.
skills. I've versed him in
Mm.
Pummel Party, and we've done a
Oh,
number of, like, Banjo-Kazooie glitchless speedrun races, and, like, he knows his stuff. He's a yeah.
yeah.
We'd love to verse each other in it because there's a history, but, gotta make the best of a bad situation. So,
Yeah, yeah.
unfortunately, I probably will just be doing some panels and working behind the scenes and
Oh, yeah,
actually working for once
that
this year.
sounds awful, yeah, that's terrible.
I've gotta actually do something productive rather
Yeah,
than
I had this great conversation where I was talking to, someone who works at TikTok, and they're like, "Oh, with events and stuff like that, like, PAX is a big deal, and, like, South by Southwest." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah," but everyone like, PAX is different, it's built different, like, it's like people go there, and particularly, like, content creators will go there and work their butts off and, like,
Yes.
work harder than they've ever worked before and
Mhm.
fucking love it. Like, just love every moment of it.
It
It's like
feels it's the perfect combination of, like, work ethic and actual fun stuff with cool people.
cool
It's
people.
if we
Yeah.
could do that full time all year round, that would be a dream come true.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
love it. I love it. I'm so looking forward to it. It's great seeing everyone, and I just I like being able to take what I've done from uni and my other lines of work and put it
yeah,
to something that I really believe in, and then also actually lend my, putting on voices and being silly to add some comedy and stuff. It's like I don't have to try, and I can do it for a good cause, like raise some money, put on a show for people.
yeah,
It ticks so many boxes for me, and I can go home and feel like I did something good. That's
yeah,
got a
and the
good
best
deed
bit
for the
is
year.
that everyone that's there, like, they get it. Like, it's not like you got invited to a room full of strangers. It's like a room full of gamers and content creators, like, people like nerds, right? And they when you do that, they're like, "Yeah!" they love it and, like, feed off it. It's so good. And it's like each and I think, and, like, I'm working with many people, a few people, around, like working, "Oh, I wanna do a panel, or I wanna do something like this," and all that sort of stuff, and, like, I'm like, "Yeah, look, I can help you. I can't do everything, but I can help you. Like, I can guide you and stuff." And one of the things that I always get is, like, people be like, "Oh, I wanna make this panel about how the reason why no one could be partnered on Twitch is because the big government's taking the taxes and they're putting it in it." And I'm like, "Okay, let me counterpoint you here. Um, people who live in faraway towns and place will save up all year round to go on a holiday to come to PAX to enjoy themselves. Maybe let's do something that's fun." It's like there's important topics, and I get that, and then like, and they should absolutely be covered. But think of it like people are there for a good time, like, they don't need to. Not everyone's a content creator. Some of them are just like mum and dad who fucking love playing board games on the weekends, and they just want to go to PAX because that's where all the gamers are.
Yeah,
Want to
yeah,
hang out with people.
they wanna experience that because they've, born at the wrong born at the wrong time, and they're making up for
Yeah.
lost time. My parents have gone to went to a couple of PAXs just to because they've really through COVID, they really just had a new appreciation for online gaming and the whole community surrounding it. They had a great old time, and
Yep.
yeah, you gotta remember there are those people.
It's
They're
families. There's fair income mom, dad, and 3 kids rocking up to go to PAX, and they're walking around, and they love all the stuff that, the the random candy reseller that's always in the middle of the board games that sell, like, they love that stuff. Like, it's not, and the best way that I've heard it sum up is it, like, people that complain about this sort of stuff, it's not for them. It's simple as that, and there's enough people. Like, it's
yes.
130,000, I think, attended last year over the 3 days, which is just insane. It's huge numbers. And
Oh,
gamers. Like, it's like actual gamers, so it's so I've been, like, talking to people and stuff like that, and it's been really nice that, and I've even, like, I got messages from, like, I made a bit of a skit on TikTok. It's like, "Hey, here's a heap of panel ideas." They're just dumb ideas, but the point is that sometimes a dumb idea is more enticing to the public that wanna just have some fun than to go to
yes.
the "How to do your taxes" panel. It's just like,
Oh god.
it's an important topic, sure, but we have to do it at PAX. Like, it's
That's
like
yeah,
it's
yeah, there's a time and a place. Like, that could easily be done like this as a podcast online, get a whole
Yeah,
bunch of people in a video call and record it, add some nice graphics,
done,
and then put it up on your YouTube
done. Yeah.
or live stream it on Twitch. Like it's like
So
in
I
or like
literally
around PAX.
I won't spoil the panel, but someone messaged me yesterday and they're like, "Hey, just wanted to let you know, saw your TikTok. I'm stealing one of your ideas." I'm like, "That sounds great." Like, I'm like, "Which one?" And they told
Excellent.
me, and I'm like, and they fleshed it out and they made it, and I'm like, that is gold. That's good. You know,
Collaboration is
it's great.
beautiful.
It's absolutely, I'm all for it. And like, I don't want any credit, nothing. I'm like, I just want to see more people get those creative juices going and do cool shit. And that's really that's it. I just want to see cool people do cool shit. That's it. I don't want anything else.
Yes,
Just come on.
100%. That's how I feel when I do like stage management or AV or whatever at these events. It's like I take for granted just how I can lock in and do that work. And it's like no effort for me. So that
Mm.
then other people can enjoy a show that
Yeah.
really want to do it. It's yeah, play on your strengths and think
Yep.
about the next person.
Yeah,
It's
100%. I'll design, write, do everything for your panel. I don't care. Like, and you can go do it. I don't want any credit. There's so many very talented people that get held back by nothing but themselves. Really, they're just like, oh, I don't know if I can do it or whatever. It's like fucking go for it. And you know,
just
it
try it once.
goes back to the yes end, you know. And it's like, yes, oh yeah, I'll give it a go. Why not? I'll do that. Yes, sure. It's like, have a go. The worst PAX will come back to you, go, "Hey, man, I don't think people wanna hear about doing the taxes. Don't do that panel." You know, it's like, and, like, I've gone to Kitty, and I've messaged Kitty and said, "Hey, I've got this really stupid idea," and Kitty would be like, "No, do that. Do it if you." It's like, "If do it more like this," and I'm like, "Oh, that is a better idea. Okay, thanks." It's cool. It's really cool, and there's so many very talented people out there that, you know, they're a DM away or, you know, away from a distance and say, "Hey, I know that you do this thing. I'd love to do that sometime." It's like, "Yeah, cool. Just have a conversation and
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 it's
get started."
take long to remember that in the ANZ content creator space, there are not many degrees of separation between a lot of people.
Really not.
Everyone
No.
knows each other or someone that they know the next person over. It's
Yep.
scary.
Yep. I literally met people at DreamHack, and then we'll be like, "Oh, you know," we're talking, and then we're like, "We're at that same event," and I think that if we looked at it, would probably be in, like, the same, "Oh, yep, we're in the same photo."
Yeah,
It's like
I've had
but
that, and you're like, "Oh, whoops." And it's great. It really helps because like learning more about yourself and Shell Bunny and a bunch of others. I'm like, they know my mate the Fog Frog. That's already
yeah,
two thumbs up from me. They must be good people.
which I've only known Fogfrog since DreamHack. I met him at DreamHack and just can't ignore him.
No, he's just such a he's a great guy. I am so thankful for meeting him years ago. We just happened to both be speedrunning Banjo-Kazooie Glitchless at the same time, and we became like friendly rivals.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny how you meet
He
people. Very
just
thankful.
his knowledge of, like, past generation games is just like, "Oh, man, we could talk forever. This is great." It's like we synced immediately. We're like,
And
"Yeah,
he's
we get it."
sharper than I think he realizes. He can be very quick-witted,
Oh,
and
yeah,
he has
absolutely.
some very interesting things to say at the drop of a hat. He needs to give himself more credit. Fog Frog,
"Oh, get in
get
there.
to
Hurry
to it,
up."
boy.
We are running out of time, but I do want to just sort of circle back because I suppose that from I've gone through many arcs. I've been in concentration for a long time, and in a lot of ways, this podcast is sort of my way of going, "Hey, these are other interesting people that I've met or seen or heard of, or, you know, have stories to tell and whatever." And this is my way of sort of showing that. But a lot of, I guess, through it's so random, but like I met Game Train through New World, the game, and like, we just talk, and the amount of times that he'd be like, "Generosity, man, you gotta get on generosity. You gotta get on generosity." And I'm like, I know about generosity. I don't I don't know what do I do? Like,
What do I
how
do,
do
man?
how do?" And in Game Train fashion, he's like, "Don't worry about it. It's like, you'll be fine." It's like it's like, "I need more information, sir. Please tell me more." It's like,
He is a
uh,
master behind the scenes, that
I
guy.
yeah, I have, yes, I know this now. I just the the fact that he's always just like level, you know, and he's just like, "Yeah, whatever, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it." Yeah, I need more information, sir. Just please tell. Anyway, so I dabbled. I did obviously a remote session through the slumber party. I don't know,
Uh-huh.
nothing happened. It was nothing interesting. And we don't worry about it. There's no VOD. from what
Same
I've
with
heard.
mine,
So
don't worry. I had fun, but everyone else was sleeping.
oh, it's yeah, yeah. Anyway, but I think that one of what I want to actually talk about is like for people that have listened to this, we've kind of explained how you get into RP and stuff like that. But if you want to get into more like events and generosity, that sort of that more in person or even like organization raising money, like how do you? What's the best way to get into that? Like, who's the person that they need to be hitting up or like, you know,
Ooh.
how do you do it? I'm somebody. I stream. I'm passionate about charity stuff. I want to do generosity stuff. It looks cool. What do I do?
Well, it's
Message
really just
game trade. No.
like, say,
Don't.
generosity in particular,
Yeah.
it's getting involved with the community, tuning into the streams of the key members, and just hanging out. Just see what happens. And as usual, as you should in a lot of things in life, just make friends and then just come and support at the Wombat Theatre on location and just yeah, jump in the community and the various other communities surrounding it. And like if they're playing Sea of Thieves or a game you enjoy, just express interest and come visit the merch desk. And everyone is always willing for a chat.
Yeah.
Um, I've met so many people through it, which has been really nice. But then there's other ways to approach it. Like you could compete in the Omegathon, like myself. It's a lengthy process, but you things can happen. Um, the other great ways is from I've been very lucky because I've had my uni degree and my side job and stuff. But volunteering, just offer your services. If you've got like particular skills, like photography skills, or
Yeah.
I don't know,
Absolutely.
whatever you can contribute,
Maybe you
just
make memes. Memes
volunteer.
are always helpful. Like at anything. Just and if you can help,
Social media, yeah.
social media is huge. Yeah. All that stuff.
Just reach out to someone, volunteer, offer your services, and either do it directly through them, or you've got the at PAX you've got the enforcers. At other conventions, you can sign up to help with guest management, AV.
Mm,
Um, just keep your eyes open for any opportunities there, and just do your best, make friends, make contacts, shine, and help others, and see what happens.
yeah.
Um, volunteering, it comes down to volunteering your time in many different ways.
Good advice. Yeah. Because and like I'm very much a believer in the sense of, and I've done it myself, and it's like if you go, I want to work in film and television, and you go, I can't find a job in film and television. Maybe you can volunteer, and
Yes,
then and I've done it. I volunteered my time. I worked in a few different companies and youth organizations and stuff like that. And the skills and people that you meet, it's like it's crazy. The doors that open just from meeting people and oh yeah, well, you know what your stuff is. You should really talk to this person or go to this person, and away you
it
go.
can be
Yeah,
very surprising how it goes. Like my background in volunteering, doing AV at other conventions, has led to literally this month. I will be um, trialing being an MC at a convention in Sydney for the first time. I've done other MCing, like trivia hosting stuff, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
all because of the work I did years ago. Um, and now, like, I did not see that coming. They reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do it. I didn't
yeah,
reach out. And if you are your genuine self and you just help people in your kind, people will remember you and they will remember your skills. It may not happen super quickly or very often, but it can happen. But you got to
yeah.
be in it to win it.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly right, and that's 100% the point. You may as well be volunteering, learning skills, meeting people, than sitting at home and being like, I can't find it. It's not gonna work. Like,
Like
get out
Shy would
there.
say, just do it,
Yeah,
even if you suck at it. But you're
just do it.
not achieving anything. There is no progression if you're just thinking, well, I'm not going to be good at it anyway. You're not doing anything.
No,
Even
just
if
do
you're
it.
sucking at something, at least then you're learning.
Correct.
It's extremely
100%.
brutal, and I wish I could apply that to everything in my life, but just try and apply it to as much stuff as you can.
Look, you can only do what you can do, and I think that's important. But I think there's so many different pathways into. Like I just always bring it back to like just meeting people. That's such a huge, and
Yeah.
it
Oh,
particularly like the amount of people that I meet, and I always just say get the weird bit over, and it's like this is awkward. Yeah, I get it. Hello, hi, it's me. You're you. It's awkward, but we're here. We like the same thing. We know each other from online. We're cool. And we just get that bit over, and then we're all good. And it's just about just
yes.
acknowledge it. Just it's fine. It's weird. And if you feel like, oh man, I don't have any friends, but I really like this convention. I don't know what to do. Volunteer because you will make friends because you will be working with them. It's like
Yes. The wisest words my film lecturers ever told me was, "It's not what you know, it's who you know."
Yeah,
And that has
100%.
been so very true. That doesn't mean you use people for your own advantage,
No, that's
but it is who you know. And,
100%. And it's
yeah.
it's so and I'm like, and I know that a lot of creators listen to the podcast in particular, and like, and a lot of people will reach out to me and they'll say, "Hey, how do do these things?" Like I made a comment that I I was talking to Bandai Namco, and they're like, "Oh, you want Elden Ring DLC?" I'm like, "No, I want the Spy X family game." And they just laughed. They're like, "Oh, yeah, we got heaps. You can give you a key. That's fine." And then someone's like, "How are you talking to Bandai Namco?" And I'm like, "Oh, I met him, and it's a person. Like, it's a human."
Yeah.
It's now that I know him and he knows me, and we I can ask him questions, and he can say no, and he can say yes. But like, until I took that leap and like shot an email off to someone or talked to someone else or whatever, and like met someone, until then, I had no way of in, but I took the leap, and then, a couple false starts, but eventually someone emails me back. It's like, "Hey, you wanna be talking to this person, email this person." And then I met that person, and I've seen him at conventions since, and mates. We can joke, and we said, it's no longer a professional, "Hello, sir. I'm kindly requesting the access."
Oh,
I'm like, "No, no, I don't have to do that anymore." I just literally just saying, "Hey, man. What's up?"
it's crazy how that can happen. I've had that with a few people, and I am just gobsmacked that I can just bump into these people as if they're
Yeah.
just a friend from school, and I'm like, "You're kind of like one of my heroes."
Yeah.
Like, this is it's, yeah, it's an experience,
It is,
and
but it's you always gotta remember that it didn't just happen. Like, you did something.
no.
You gotta
Yeah.
do something to make it happen, and if you wanna talk to brands and you wanna run events or you wanna go to like, you need to make steps, go forward and reach out and do these sort of things, and like I said, like, I've heard of generosity, and I've watched many streams and donated many times and done silly things, and that's fine. I donated, quite a bit of money to the Cursed Cake segment, this last one, just because I wanted to see Liger suffer, because that was funny. Um,
Oh, yeah, Liger was cool. Yeah.
and just stuff like that. But like I would have never. I'm gonna put the dots together. You ready? Like I'd spoken briefly to someone from Generosity. I don't even know who. Like years ago, I think at PAX, and they reached out to me on Twitter, but nothing kind of came of it. But then I was running Team OCE, and we had a creator, Midnight Victoria, who was in Team OCE, who was friends with Game Train. They were playing New World, and then Midnight Victoria stopped playing it, and then Game Train came and played with us. And then from we played New World, and then we played into other things, and then we met him at PAX because he was running at the fucking Wombat Theater, whatever, doing that thing. And I always see him getting coffee, and then we're friends, and then we went and go to movies and get drinks and stuff like that. Next thing you know, I'm in Generosity. it's,
Yeah.
it's a wiggly line, but it's like that. Like if I it just followed it, and then eventually here we go, and it's onto a thing. So that's how I got into it.
It is a choose your own adventure industry. Like, there is no right or wrong way, which is, people hear it to death, but it is so true. Like, I'm still trying to find where I fit in the grand scheme of things,
Oh
but
yeah,
I am
yeah,
so damn thankful for all the opportunities I've had and the opportunities I've got coming up. So, yeah, especially if anyone's listening that is like they're just out of school and they're really young in their early 20s, get started now,
yes,
because I'm only just seeing things happen now in my 30s
yes,
from seeds that were planted in my 20s.
yes, and you have
And
to you have
time's
to
ticking.
you have to understand as well. You bloody 20-year-old. Shit's easier now. Like when we were fucking 20, this stuff was hard. Like you imagine video calling someone and recording it for a podcast when you were 20? No, it's impossible.
In my early 20s, the thought of having stable, fast internet and also just
Oh my
flying
god.
around going to conventions seemed like a distant, unachievable dream.
Yeah,
That's just
exactly.
where I was. Um, it's yeah,
So
just start now, damn it.
you have no excuse. You have no excuse. Just get started. Get started. And I was straight up when I was in high school, I was volunteering at a doing helping with editing with Prime TV, Channel 7. And then they said, "Oh, fuck school. It's a waste of time." Like
Yeah.
it's like you
No,
go
in
they're
hindsight,
like
I would have gone to uni. I would not
Yeah.
have got my degree. I would have just been
Yeah.
like, "No, let's just get involved
He
in other ways."
said he said to me, "This program, this program, this program, we use it, go learn it." And I went,
Yeah,
"Okay." And
go and do it.
I
Go and fail now and just keep doing it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
I think the wake up call for me was that when I found out how much those programs cost, and I'm like, "Oh shit."
Adobe!
Strikes again. Anyway, we do need to wrap it up. I think we've covered a lot of different things here. It's been really
Yes.
great to chat, and I think for a lot of people that have come and listen to this podcast, particularly those, I'd love to know if this is like your first peek into the ramblings of RP, because normal content creators who watch. I don't know, fucking whatever. I was gonna say like XQC, but he does RP and stuff as well, so it doesn't matter. Like it's like if big creators do it, I'm sure you've heard of it, but like this is we're telling you from our perspective what it's like. So I hope you've learned something. If you haven't, or if you've got questions or whatever, absolutely go turn. I'm not streaming RP at the moment. I do sometimes, whatever. But Corbs is always streaming RP. So
Yeah,
go to a
just
Corb stream and just start hitting him up. Wait
just
until
it
like a
wait
really
until
busy
when I'm not
time.
in a sheriff meeting. When I'm not in a sheriff meeting, please. I have responsibilities now.
Wait until he's in the sheriff meeting.
Oh, no! I look over at chat and I'm like, "Oh, I feel so bad." But I've got things to do, man. We
Soon as the
must save Blackwater.
All right, listen. I'll tell you what to do. Right, when the sheriff meeting starts, gift a sub as soon as he does, and then when he doesn't respond, just type "Dono wall" over and over again.
Some people have subbed and followed while I'm in a meeting, and I'm like, it's so. I feel like going like writing in chat, like, "I'm so sorry, I'm busy.
I used to have a
Where are
button.
my moderators?"
I used to have a button on my stream deck that I'd hit it, and it's just like, it would just say, we're in a whatever situation right now. Thanks for the sub or whatever, and just respond. There was just so many times it'd be like, I can't talk right now. Stop it.
I'm sorry.
It's great, but no, thanks for hanging out for the stream and
There you
stream for the podcast. Um, can you? Where can people find you? Give us that self plug.
Primarily on Twitch, most nights, Australian Eastern Standard Time from like 6 until midnight. If you want to go back and see previous VODs of George Hughes on in Red Dead RP, you can find that on my secondary Twitch channel, which is like Corb's Twitch Archive on YouTube. Primarily that. Feel free to tweet at me. I'm not on that very much because my job is busy and being a sheriff is busy. And if you see me I will be at SmashCon in Sydney. I should be working at the Nintendo live event in Sydney as well. And I'll be at PAX and South by Southwest. So if you see me with a big, stupid orange K shirt or something, feel free to come up and say howdy.
Awesome. I'll be at 2 of those 4 events. So.
I'll see you there. I'll keep my eyes peeled.
Fantastic. And anyone who has made it this far in the podcast, please leave us a like and make sure you are subscribed or follow or tell your friends, invite your mum, dad, grandpa, cousins, dog, whoever, come listen. And leave a comment down the bottom if there's anyone in particular that you want us to try and approach and get on the show. They don't have to be streamers. They can be YouTubers. They can be anything. I will interview anyone. Content creation is a big, big space. It's not just streaming YouTubers. But yeah. Thanks for making it this far and show us some love. And we'll see you all very soon. Thanks again, Corbs, for being here, and we'll see you all again. Bye, everybody. And we're done.
Nice. Good stuff.